again back at the round table with Sean and Drew, and we've got to talk Masters because I'll tell you, I was bored to tears. My husband was shocked when I said, he said, wasn't that the greatest playoff ever? And I said, no, it wasn't. As soon as Tiger and Mickelson were out of it, I was really kind of asleep.
It wasn't the greatest playoff, but it might have been one of the greatest Masters Sundays we have had because, again, Phil and Tiger just captivated everyone.
Absolutely.
You know, but if I'm Phil right now, he's a bigger choker than Kenny Perry.
He really is.
Because the great approach shots that he had, and he missed the birdie putts. You know, he should have been in the clubhouse at 12.
Or he'd come off of a great hole with it where he made an incredible birdie putt and he'd shank it into the woods. I mean, this guy's consistency in his game is non-existent.
It's frightening. And I'll tell you what, if I was playing today, which I wasn't, but if I was playing today and Tiger started to make that move, I'd fold up and go home.
Right.
I mean, honestly, you know, because you're sitting there, there's that moment, and I'm sure we all went through it. He can't do it. And then you're like, this is Tiger Woods. He can do it. He can absolutely, positively do it. And it's amazing. And I know Jim Nantz was waiting, waiting for that moment where he could go, and Tiger lurking, you know, as he always does. But it was too little, too late. But, you know, Kenny Perry, it was funny. I watched the interview afterwards, and he said, yeah, the last couple holes, my right hand got fidgety. I forget the word he used for it. No, you went Mickelson on us, Kenny. I mean, you really did.
He said he was nervous and that he really lost his cool. I mean, to have a two-stroke lead coming down 17 at the Masters and not be able to keep it.
And after the great 16. After the great 16 he's walking up there, and most people are thinking we're looking at the oldest champion ever for a major, but then this just shows you that at Augusta, those nerves can get to you.
And Cabrera's pruning trees on the 18th. You know, he's got that prune, he's pruning trees. I'm like, this is over.
Does this almost further the argument of Tiger's greatness? Granted, he wasn't able to come back from the 7 holes, but I mean, that the way that other people start to really shrink under the pressure of the greatest spotlight in the greatest majors, in the greatest tournaments.
Phil beat Tiger head-to-head today, but he still choked because of Tiger. So without question, it just proved what a phenomenal player he is.
I'll say it again. As soon as that run started, I'd have thrown the clubs in the water and head to Butler Cabin for a martini or eight. I'm done.
It was absolutely a great stretch of golf there. But like I said, as soon as those two went into the scores 10, I lost interest. All right, let's turn to basketball just a little bit. Obviously, the Pistons get in with their win on Friday night. They go to Indiana last night in a game that really did have some importance for them if they want to try to avoid Cleveland and Boston, which they still have a slight chance of doing, and they can't pull it off down the stretch. What do you see for their prospect in the playoffs this year?
Well, they're one and done in the first round. I mean, you hear a lot of people say that they're kind of like the Anaheim of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, you don't want to face them as a 7th seed. But again, this team, I think they're just waiting until this season is over so they can try to bring in some fresh talent in there and see if they can do some improvement for next year.
They're going to finish under 500. I mean, they have to win both their last 2 games, of course, to hit 500. I don't think they will, and I'm with Drew. It's going to be one and done. And I know a lot of people are going to call this a complete failure, which I'm going to try to look at the bright side and say, look, this wasn't a team that was going to win anyway, even if Chauncey Billups was here. You got that money off the books. Now, let's see what they do with that money. That's the biggest question.
Their playoff victories are going to come in the postseason.
Well, absolutely. All depends on if they do anything this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. All right, thank you. They're saying bye in my ear. I talk too much. I talk too much. All right, thanks so much, guys, for joining us tonight on the Roundtable. Much more from the works as we roll on to the Sunday night. Stay with us.